Welcome back, dear viewers, and as we said earlier in the beginning of the episode, our first topic of discussion in today's edition will be about investment and the economic situation, and also specifically the investment in the field of transportation. And to this issue in depth, we're most delighted to be joined in the studio by Mr. Mohamed Sheta. First of all, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to you too, and good morning to all our dear viewers, of
Happy
course.
New Year,
and Happy New Year, and happy Merry Christmas to all the Egyptians, actually, not only the Coptic Egyptians, but to all of Egypt.
Right, sir, just I know it's important to talk about economy in general, but I will jump into talking about economy, investments in the infrastructure when it comes to transportation, because I believe this is a dream to all Egyptians, to see something new when it comes to transportations, means of transportation in Egypt. You know, it is I don't know how to describe it, but we are in a dire need to more investments in this field.
You're absolutely right. Before it becomes a dream, it's currently a nightmare, actually. Yes. The complete transportation system which we have, which includes both the public transportation sector as well as the private traffic sector we have, which is the road structure and the road conditions for the passenger cars. It is really a big mess, and we are indeed, we need very much large investments in the transportation sector. And I think it's very important that we not only find investors who come from outside Egypt to invest into the transportation system in Egypt, but we also need Egyptian investors themselves to invest in the transportation sector, because they are the ones who know most of it, and they are the ones who suffer most of it on a daily basis. So we need actually investments in all the different transportation sectors. We need investment in the ITS sector, which is the intelligent transportation, the intelligent traffic systems, in order to modernize the network we have. It is completely unacceptable that you leave, for example, from 6th of October City to Tagamma or 5th District, and you don't know how the road's going to be, you know. So we need ITS systems in order to be able to plan our daily life, our appointments and everything. And this is also very important for attracting investors in different sectors. I'll give you an example. I know a couple of friends who work in multinational companies in Europe, and when they were given the choice to become the regional manager for the company in the Middle East region, one of them, for example, had three choices: Dubai, Morocco, and Cairo. And actually, although he was Egyptian, he chose Dubai because he knows that Cairo, the traffic is horrible, and because it's going to be very difficult to plan your work. You know, in Dubai, for example, from his house to his office, he only needs 15 minutes. Here, you need 2 hours. So if you calculate this on a yearly basis, you're wasting lots of time. And this is a friend who was Egyptian, and I know many others who were Germans or French. They also chose not to come to Egypt and to invest somewhere else, mainly because of the horrible traffic situation we have in Egypt.
Sir, what about implementing other models in other countries? For instance, privatizing roads. Why is it not doable here in Egypt? Or why didn't the government thinking of a partnership with a private company, for instance, for paving the roads, making it appropriate for cars to move on it and to facilitate the process?
I think it's only natural that this concept will probably not work in Egypt, because we already now, although the government is spending billions of Egyptian pounds into modernizing and maintaining the roads, still, due to the so many subcontractors who are in charge of paving the roads with new asphalts and everything, you know that unfortunately we still have some people who prefer to use less quality in order to make more money. You know, so it's very difficult, because the Egyptian consumer does not have this typical feeling. He's not used to, for example, paying for parking or paying for using the road, or, for example, like they have in London City, the congestion charge for entering the city. Mm-hmm. Actually, those are very interesting models, which actually we should implement, because we have many problems. We have the traffic the traffic jam and the traffic congestions due to many reasons. First of all, due to huge amount of cars entering the city, for example. Mm-hmm. Secondly, because of the old cars we have moving around on Egyptian streets as well. And this is another problem we have, that we need to change the customs system as well, because most of the cars who are moving around Egypt or around Cairo, they have the very old technology. They have worn out tires, worn out brakes, everything. And these cars break down very often. So this is one of the reasons which creates traffic jam. Mm-hmm. Then this traffic jam creates lots of, I mean, we lose so much money just because wasting time in the traffic jam, as well as all the fuel which is not used properly and effectively when you're stuck in a traffic jam. So I think to modernize the complete traffic system we have in Egypt, and also we need to modernize the complete automotive market as well. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that President El-Sisi and Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab, they had recently they had some meetings with some representatives from automotive companies, and I think we really need to change the whole system in Egypt regarding the automotive market.
Something like franchising or something like this. I don't know, but.
What kind of franchising you mean?
I don't know, but when it comes to the manufacturing of cars here, to have it. To be all just made in Egypt, can we start from scratch, or possible to seek some international companies, for example, automotive companies?
I think we need to. What happened in the last 20 years cannot be described as an automotive industry. Actually, it was purely a money-making business for the owners of these car. I mean, I don't call them factories, actually. I call them workshops, because their size, they only have like between 100 and 200 employees. So you can't call this really an automotive factory. I call it an automotive workshop for assembling cars. 99% of these workshops assemble cars of very low quality and extremely harming for the Egyptian consumers, for both his pocket as well as his health. Most of the cars we have, they don't have any of the important active and passive safety features, such as electronic stability program.
And the consumer is not complaining.
No, actually, no. Actually, if you open, actually, they started complaining because.
But complaining by where I meant, because you can control the market if you are going to take the decision that you are not going to accept any product, regardless what is that product, with less quality or low quality.
Yes.
This is the important part.
He started complaining during the past 5 to 10 years, because before that you didn't have the social media, for example. The other problem is that we still have very unnecessarily, and in my personal opinion, very stupid customs on cars. You know, so the choices for the consumers in Egypt are very, very limited, and if you only have £100,000, you only have 3 or 4 very low quality cars to choose from. But complaining, and for example, if you open the Facebook, for example, actually President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, he sat down with the representatives of the Japanese car company Nissan a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't know what the outcome was. And I think this is not correct, because actually the public has a right to know what's going to happen with our economy. For example, this Japanese company, they opened a factory in Morocco with a capacity of 400,000 cars a year. And this is a huge number, and this creates thousands, I mean, real job opportunities, not like the fake ones we have here in Egypt. Just to give you an example, here in Egypt, the car manufacturers, they claim that they produce around 100,000 to 120,000 cars here in Egypt, locally assembled ones. I predict that the number is much less than that. I don't think it's more than 40 or 50,000. Just to give you an example, that the 18 assembly lines in Egypt, they don't produce more than 40 or 50,000, while one factory only in Morocco produces 400,000. So the concept is completely different. The same happened with Algeria, Algeria a couple of months ago, and also the same Japanese company. They also, sorry, it's Renault Nissan, so it's a French-Japanese alliance, and they also went and opened a factory in Algeria with a capacity of 200,000 cars. So they're planning to produce so many cars. This means they're going to create so many job opportunities, which does not happen in Egypt. So I want the Egyptian government, if they're planning to develop this automotive market, to concentrate more on the quantity, not only just producing 1,000 or 2,000 cars for their local market. No. If any company is planning to get benefits from the Egyptian government for establishing a new factory, this factory should be for exporting cars, and to create at least 10 or 50,000 jobs. You know, not just 200 job opportunities like it's the case with most of the car companies here. So I think President El-Sisi and Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahleb, they should really consider reducing the customs on European cars, not just 10% every year till 2019. No, I think we should cancel the customs immediately, in order to improve the road safety situation on Egyptian roads, the pollution on Egyptian roads, as well as the traffic jams we have.
Sorry to jump in here, sir, but hilariously, speaking about cutting off some 10% of the customs, I heard that even though the cabinet has approved this decision, none of the prices have went down.
Actually, this is a problem with the car dealers and the car importers, because actually, you know, this free trade agreement between Egypt and Europe has been in place since 2004, 2006, and they started implementing the discounts, the gradual 10% discount on Egyptian customs since 2010. So since 2010, every year 10%. This means that by now, for example, the customs for cars of 1.6 liter,
40%.
Exactly. 50%. No, they went down from 40 to 20%. Of course, nobody felt, and you just mentioned correctly that the prices did not go down, because actually most of the car dealers, they do not reduce the price. They just put this extra discount in their pockets. So this is of course something completely unacceptable. The problem is the media. The media has a role in raising the awareness of the customer towards this issue. Of course they don't, because most of the automotive supplement.
What the customer is going to do, this is another issue, because there are two main fields in Egypt. Whatever happens in the country, they are not affected, and the price moving, you know, increasing day by day. Talking about the real estate and the car market, automotive market, you will find that they have never been affected by whatever is happening in the country.
Well, actually, the real estate, you'll be surprised. But the real estate, but the real estate sector actually got affected. In like 3 years ago, the prices went down significantly, and then they went up again. But this is with cars. Actually, cars never go down, because the automotive supplements of the large newspaper like Al-Ahram, Al-Akhbar, and all the other newspapers, they always keep on serving the interest and the needs of the car advertisers, not of the customers, because actually they are very keen on getting advertisements. So they keep on telling people, oh, go buy a car now because the prices are not going to go down. On the contrary, even after the 1st of January, the prices are going to go up, you know. Although this is, of course, but they urge and push the customer to go buy a car
to serve their own benefits.
Exactly, because when they push the customers to go buy cars, you know, so the car dealers, they make more money, so they start placing advertisements in the newspaper, so they get their official commission for these advertisements. Because actually, as you know, 90% or 95% of the people working in these weekly automotive supplements, they're either advertising representatives of the newspaper, or they're crime scene reporters who get their commission anyway. You know, so this problem in Egypt, that actually those weekly supplements are working against the interest of the Egyptian consumer.
But how can we deal with this? I mean, just as we are talking right now, is there any way, any means, or the government can just...
Yes, of course.
Or is there anything that the Consumer Protection Authority, for instance?
Well, the Consumer Protection Agency, actually, the CPA, is not doing a really good job. First of all, we need a ministry for consumer agency. No, agency is not enough by any means, and they cannot cover all the problems in all the different sectors. Secondly, for example, talking about the Consumer Protection Agency, right now we have a huge campaign on the Facebook regarding the Nissan Sunny recall, which was initiated by a group of Nissan Sunny owners who have horrible problems with the car. And this is a very serious safety issue because this car has problems with the braking system, okay? And they were very happy that they sold 10,000 cars last year, and then it turned out that these cars which were sold were of very low quality, which affected the brake discs, and therefore many brake discs had to be replaced. Some did not function well, and actually some of them caused some accidents. So they have a serious problem with the braking system, and the Consumer Protection Agency did not do much. I mean, these are quite limited. For example, one of the owners or this owner association, they asked them to provide the quality tests for the parts used in this Nissan Sunny. Until now, the Japanese company refused to show it to them, and also the Consumer Protection Agency was not able to get these tests. So I think it's the role of the government. Before any car is manufactured and assembled in Egypt, they need to provide, these companies need to provide all the quality tests for all the parts, local parts or imported parts, just to make sure that these cars are safe cars for the Egyptian consumers.
I believe that the agency, they don't have any expertise to evaluate.
No, actually, no. They don't have any full-time experts or automotive engineers. They always get external advice from freelance engineers. And this is a very, very tricky thing, I mean, because there is a conflict of interest. Because actually a couple of years ago, some of the people in the different
committees
of the committees at the Consumer Protection Agencies, they were actually working in car companies. They were like the marketing manager of a car company.
Definitely, as you said, conflict of interest.
So this is impossible. So the Egyptian government needs to find a new master plan for the automotive industry and the automotive market, because actually I hear lots of people, like for example, a gentleman called Hamdi Abdelaziz, who is head in the industry federation here in Egypt. He always keeps on telling that we need to impose new taxes on imported cars because we need to save the so-called automotive industry in Egypt. Mr. Hamdi, we don't have an Egyptian automotive industry.
Just assembly.
We just have a couple of small-sized factories, which I call still workshops, because actually this size in Europe they call this is a mid-sized company. It's not a factory. And actually they failed during the past 20 years to produce quality cars which would enable them, first of all, to sell in Egypt, and secondly to export outside Egypt. Now they're asking the government for new benefits. They want lands with probably for free they want it, and all these things. Again, after they failed during the past 20 years. So this is, of course, something unacceptable, because actually we as the Egyptian taxpayers, why should we support some factories producing low-quality cars, unsafe cars with our money? I mean, if you're not able to export your product because your product is of low quality, then just go out of the country and do your business somewhere else.
Talking about all what is happening when it comes to the automotive market, we started by talking about the infrastructure regarding the roads, and this is something very important. And I don't believe that, or I believe that the government is not capable of preparing or renovating the roads, because definitely this will cost a hell of money. In addition, of course, because sometimes I believe that those who already did these roads, they must be judged because of what happened.
Yes.
We have different places here who are suffering a lot. So to do something, there must be something to take benefit of. Who's going to take the benefit? No one.
Well, yeah.
And definitely investments can never do anything in this. So
actually, who should benefit from it is the Egyptian citizen.
No, I mean as an investor. Why are you going to invest in something like this?
It's very difficult. I personally, I don't think that a lot of foreign investors will come to Egypt to invest in the road road network of Egypt. I think this is the job of the Egyptian government. They know best how to solve these problems. What they need to do is to get new experts, either get them from abroad, like all the other countries like the UAE or Saudi Arabia are doing. They're getting the best engineers and the best experts. So if they Emiratis, then they take the Emiratis. If they don't have Emiratis, then they take the Germans or the British or the French or whatever. You just get the best people in the sector and make a master plan for the Egyptian traffic, for the Egyptian road network. You know, the problem is that they're still using the same people in the same authorities and the same ministries who already put us in this mess we have right now. So you need to change the mindset of the people. You need to get fresh blood. You need to get people with new way of thinking out of the box. And this is not happening right now. The Ministry of Transportation and the Road and Bridges Authority, government, they are in charge of the road network in Egypt, and they should be the ones who solve this problem. And actually, the problem, I don't see a very clear concept so far. And if President El-Sisi, you know, we had some very horrific accidents during the past few months, and I remember that President Sisi asked specifically for a concept in order how to avoid such accidents. I never heard about this concept. I mean, he asked that this concept should be finished in two or 3 weeks, and this thing has been now for like 4 or 5 months now, and until now we did not hear anything about this concept. So the government has to sit on one table, and they need to have all the different ministries: Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and the Customs Authority to sit down on one table and find a master plan for Egypt.
We hope that we can do this as long as we are starting anew here. So, Mr. Mohamed Sheta, expert in the field of road construction and car manufacturing, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Dear viewers, Christians celebrated the Christmas Day on Wednesday, and also in a historic visit, the first of its kind, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi paid a visit to attend the ceremony, which was held at the St. Mark Cathedral. Nile TV's very own Linda Abdel Latif has more detailed report.